Welcome back, everybody. We've been MIA for a little bit because we sadly lost a lot of footage. But here we are, it's backpacking season. We're gonna show you how we pack our backpacks today.
We are so excited now that it's finally June. The snow in the Sierra is melting very quickly, which we were a little bit nervous about. So we're starting to get ready for our first trip of the season this next week. And I'm really nervous. We haven't trained at all. So it's gonna be a good test. We wanted to go through a full list of all of the backpacking gear that we're gonna be bringing this season. Some of it is similar to last season, some of it's new. We're just trying to get as light and streamlined as possible.
To clarify, light, not ultralight.
We like to toe the balance between ultralight and comfortable and affordable, which really don't go together, but this is the best that we can do. I honestly am very happy with the setup that we have. I think that it's great. There's nothing that we're wanting to change right now, which is a lot for two people who love gear.
Big gearheads.
Shall we?
First off, backpacks.
These are our backpacks for this year. They are very similar. They are both Gregory. I have the Jade 53.
Mine's the Zulu 55.
We've found, like, we started with 65 liter packs, and honestly we used to use all of those 65 liters, but as we've gotten a little more experience, tailored down what we need, 55, 53 can fit everything we need and even a little bit more.
Yeah, usually I find myself with a lot of extra space or sometimes using a smaller pack, but this is all the potential for a winter trip, or if I want to bring some extra comforts, it fits it. I have extra space. I'd rather have extra space.
Yeah, definitely would rather have extra space. You never know. Sometimes, like, I've carried someone else's gear out, and if I didn't have extra space, I don't know what I would have done.
They also carry really well. These packs have a really nice suspension system, and they're incredibly adjustable. They're super comfortable. They're not like minimal around the shoulders and the hips. So they may be a little heavier than some ultralight packs, but man, are they comfortable.
I love big hip pockets. I end up storing a ton of stuff that I want easily accessible in these hip pockets.
Big snack girl.
I need all the snacks. I need candy in both at all times. Water bottle pack, and then the top, the whole bag is like quite organizable, which is nice. Something that's so cool about these packs, so we have the bottom zipper, and we usually put like sleeping bags and stuff in here, but then there's this pocket on the front that opens up all the way into the main compartment, so you don't have to dig into the pack and like take everything out to get what's at the bottom.
So all the big stuff goes in the main pocket, pretty seemingly obvious. There are two small pockets on the brain of the pack, so one on the underside that's a little more protected from, say, rain or any elements like that. That we'll put, like, my water filter lives in there, so it's always accessible. We'll put keys in there. In the top one, I always have like a headlamp or a multi-tool and a lighter. They're just quick access pockets, not really meant to carry the big heavy stuff, but just things you want access to. Camera batteries, phone sometimes, because I don't like to carry it in my pocket.
So next, we'll get into the big three, which is the sleep system, which is probably the most essential part of the whole gear setup.
So we're going to show you how we pack all this in order from bottom to top.
First up, at the very bottom of our packs are our sleeping bags, and actually in this case, sleeping quilts.
Sleeping quilts.
This is a new product for us. We have always used sleeping bags, but sleeping quilts have always been something we've been working towards, but they are definitely on the pricier end of the backpacking spectrum.
So these are the Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilts. We went with a 30-degree style, so something that's super packable, super lightweight, but still warm enough when we're backpacking in, say, the Eastern Sierra or the San Juans, like we have been the past couple of years.
This is primarily going to be a summer bag for us, which is honestly what we needed. We do have the REI Magma 15s, which are amazing sleeping bags for a little bit colder trips, but just to be super light, I mean, you really cannot get better than this. So the whole thing with what a sleeping quilt is versus a sleeping bag, when you're laying down in a sleeping bag on your back, you're usually compressing all of that insulation that's underneath you, and that doesn't actually do anything to keep you warm. So it's kind of just wasted space, wasted weight. And so a sleeping quilt has no like true back like this, and it's just insulating you from all of the other sides. What you're relying on for the warmth on your back is just your sleeping pad. These ones specifically have done away with most of the zipper. From here down, there's no zipper, and there's just a small one at the foot box. Yeah. And there's a hole down there.
Foot box is open, but it has a cinch, so you can close it up if you want to, like a sleeping bag, or when it's a little warmer, you can have some ventilation at the feet.
This weighs 19.1 ounces, which is so light. A lot of people will pack these directly into their bags. That's a very common thing to do. We don't do that. I've had a few instances where my backpack has gotten wet, and I've had a sleeping bag that's wet, and it's just not a fun moment. So we have stuff sacks that we put them in, and these are compression sacks by Sea to Summit, and they're amazing and make this pack down so tiny. It's crazy. That is amazing how small that packs down.
Love it.
This is probably like a third of the size of our old one.
Probably. So, for packing the backpack, these always go at the bottom for us. I think that's what a lot of people do. That's what we choose to do.
With a sleeping bag, you're not going to be comfortable without a sleeping pad.
The Nemo Tensor.
The Nemo Tensor. This has been our backpacking sleeping pad for over 2 years now, and we love this. We've tried quite a few in between. We've had different ones before. This sleeping pad is so freaking comfortable. It is crazy. It weighs 1 pound. The R value of this is 4.2, so we have used this in snow, in very cold temperatures, and have always stayed super comfortable. This is an older version of this pad, so they have come out with a new line of these. It's the exact same design, they're just a little bit upgraded. We have heard that they're quieter because
these are loud.
Honestly, I did not think it was that loud. Like when it's just the two of us, it doesn't bother me, but when we've been in like very quiet situations, when there's other people around, I'm like, oh no, it's pretty loud.
It's loud. These are super easy to blow up. They come with a really nice pump sack, which fills it usually in about 3 full pump sacks.
And there are a lot of bad pump sacks on the market, and this one is so easy to use.
It's a good one. And
the pad is easy to deflate, which is honestly even more valuable because you're not like having to use your knees and get all the air out. You just open it up and it lets everything out, and you roll it up once and put it away, and it's done.
Quick and easy.
For packing these, they go usually right next to our sleeping bag at the bottom of our packs because it's what we're going to need only at camp.
Next, because we're super extra, are really comfy pillows.
We have both done like filling a stuff sack with clothes and sleeping on that, and to me it's just not worth it. A backpacking pillow is very small. His is a little bit bigger than mine.
Mine's a tad big, but it's worth it.
His is pretty extra, but it's so comfortable. Mine's pretty small. And it just adds so much comfort. Like it just, I mean, I don't want to go without this.
It's worth it.
So I have the Sea to Summit Eros pillow. It's just like very basic, small. I usually blow it up all the way and then let a little bit of air out so that I'm not like rolling off of it. But it's a good one.
I have the Xped Mega Pillow. This thing is so good. Look at that, look at that, look at it. Zoe actually bought this for her, but seems to be mine.
I gave it to
I will say though, sometimes I end up like this, and she'll just use the back half of my pillow. So really, it's like a two-person pillow. It works.
So we usually just pack these with all of our other sleep stuff because it's the stuff that you're only going to need access to at camp. And these are like good to just fill in the gaps.
And what that all goes in, including us, is our tent. This is the Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL2. It is super light, under 3 pounds. I've been happy to carry this, unlike our last one.
The reason that we went with this tent, we did so much research into tents because the first tent that we got was like $150. It was on sale. It was very heavy, which was great as a beginner, but it was weighing on us, literally.
Literally.
It is a freestanding tent, so you can set up on rock, you can set up on dirt. You don't need stakes or trekking poles to hold anything up if you don't have them. And it's really known for how well it does in bad weather, which we somehow get caught in all the time. There are other tents that are lighter than this one, but they are known for like poles breaking or the tent kind of caving in on you or rain getting in. And this one has a really great rain fly. It's super protective. It's held up in really strong winds. We brought this in snowstorms. It's only a 3-season tent, but we've used it all year round and it's been amazing.
So, I don't bring the main bag with me. This is a ground cloth that gets packed separately. Tent stakes get packed separately. Tent poles, they go vertical in my backpack on their own. And then the main tent body stays folded nicely. Well, is supposed to stay folded nicely, as well as the rain fly. And they all get packed kind of on top of each other. So I don't bring the bag with me because it's kind of an awkward shape. Trying to pack that in my backpack with everything and working around it just makes it really awkward. So these actually folded in like squares, packed really nicely on top of a bear canister if I have it in my pack, or folded clothes. It just works better in the pack rather than this long cylindrical shaped thing. Kind of difficult to work around.
The ground cloth. Now this you have to buy separately, which is unfortunate, but I would not spend this kind of money on a tent without buying a ground cloth. This is going to keep this tent surviving. Yes. It protects it from holes, it keeps it dry if there's any rain or a little bit of moisture in the ground.
Or if we're sleeping on top of snow, makes a big difference.
Yes, this, like, it's gonna make it last so much longer because this is really thin material for it to be so lightweight. And we've had friends get holes in these, but we don't have any issues just because of this. I love this tent.
She loves the tent. She doesn't even carry it.
We're going to make our way into the food, water, that whole section. And the biggest and bulkiest piece of gear that we carry is a bear can. These are the bear vaults. This is the BB500, this is the BB450. We typically only need to bring one of these. It really just depends on the trip. And for most trips, like a 3 to 4 day trip, we'll be bringing this one and put all of the food in there.
For 2 people.
For
3 to 4 days for 2 people.
We're about to go on a weekend, like a one-night trip, and I think we're just gonna bring this one. We could maybe get away with the smaller one, but I bring a lot of snacks.
And extra toiletries.
So we live in Tahoe in the Sierra Nevada. It is very common that bear cans are required, and pretty much everywhere they're becoming more and more required. And even in spots where they aren't, we've had instances where other people have gotten their food taken because they didn't have these. They're just so much safer, and it's so much more responsible for the bears and for us to not have that interaction. So anything scented will go in here at night. Food, toiletries, sunscreen, chapstick, all of that.
All the trash out of your hip pockets from your snacks during the day, your toothbrush goes in there, everything that could possibly be in your backpack, because it may not be a bear, but even little critters while you're sleeping at night, your pack is outside, will chew through and get into your pack for those little crumbs.
Which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
I will typically pack all of the food into one of these canisters, except for snacks that we want that day and maybe the dinner for that night, so it's not taking up extra space in here. And then this just goes right into my bag. Like, it's pretty much in the middle. It's on top of all the sleep stuff, and it's the heaviest thing in the pack. So I leave it right in the middle, up against my back, and then pack everything around it. It's not the most glamorous piece of gear, and a lot of people really hate these things, and I can't say I love it, but it is very responsible to bring something like this, and we don't have to worry about the bears, which is good.
Take care of the bears.
Yeah. Next up is our cooking system. So we currently use the Jetboil Stash, and we were using the Jetboil Flash before this. We ended up wanting a lighter setup, and the Stash is what we went with. We stuck with Jetboil. There are so many backpacking stoves on the market, and after a lot of research, this was the best one, and we love it. So it is a pot, and Jetboils are known for boiling water really, really fast because they have these fins on the bottom of the pot. So we really wanted that aspect because most of the things that we're doing is just boiling water. But at the same time, most Jetboils are kind of just stuck with that. But this also comes with a small stove that you put this on top of. So this can be used for the Jetboil pot, or it can be used for another pot or pan. We do quite a mix of like boiling water for meals versus cooking meals, and this has a really good temperature regulator, so we're able to actually like saute rather than just a regular Jetboil that's just meant to boil water.
Obviously, with the cook system, we always have to bring fuel. We try to do the best we can to bring the 100 or 110 gram, depending on which brand you use, canisters. We actually did just get the little adapter so we can refill these small ones off the large canisters, and it's made our life really easy. This actually fits inside of the stash, so no wasted space going on anywhere.
Super compact.
This is the Cedar Summit Alpha Pot, and this is actually a large cook set inside. We never typically bring everything that's in here. We really just use the pots, but sometimes this stuff is nice to have. This pot is really light, and when we do bring the pot, you can pack other stuff in here, like any of the stuff that goes around the bear canister or whatnot can go in here. We typically make a lot of meals at home, dehydrate them on our own, or we will come up with something, bring a bunch of ingredients, and actually make just like a one pot meal and share it. That we find better flavors. We're kind of over some Mountain House meals, so we enjoy experimenting, and this is what we do it out of. One dish. That's why that's a little too small to make a whole dinner out of.
For 2 people.
Yeah.
I could probably eat a dinner out of there for 1, but
Oh,
for 2 it's...
I could eat one dinner out of here for 1.
But then in this set, it's like a really cool set. We just pick and choose what makes sense for the trip. Yeah. So there's 2 bowls, a dishcloth, and then...
We do typically bring the dishcloth just so we can wipe stuff out when we're done.
And then there's another small pot, and there's 2 mugs inside of here.
Yeah. Typically, I'll pack this on top of the tent or wherever there's extra space near the top. It's pretty light, even if I put maybe some clothes in it for the first day. I don't need it to be in the middle. It's not super heavy.
Then the only other things that we need for eating and cooking is a mug and a long spoon. So these mugs are by GSI Outdoors. They're like $11. It comes with a little cozy thing, and then it has a lid, and I eat oatmeal out of these also.
There are also measuring cups.
It's just a good setup. The only thing, we have hung these on the outside of our packs before, and if you hang it upside down, it will fall out. So I almost lost that one, so you have to be careful about that. These are the Alpha Light Sporks from Cedar Summit. It's a backpacking staple. I think it's like maybe $10, but these are nice because they're really long, so you can get them into like a Mountain House meal and not get it all over your hands.
And we always carry, especially with the stash, because there is no piezo on there, always carry a lighter. We carried it all the time with our flash because that piezo is notorious for not working.
If you don't know what a piezo is, it's just like the auto ignite on a stove. A lot of stoves have them. Don't trust them.
Unreliable. I don't care who makes it.
And it's probably better to have like this and matches or 2 lighters or something, because that's kind of hard to go without.
We always have one typically stashed in the stash. But I also typically carry one just in the brain of my pack, just always having a lighter as a backup.
I always put the spork in the top pocket just to have easy access to. It's a small item that I don't want loose, and then the mug just fills in spaces. And just like the pot on the first day, I usually put a pair of socks in here. They're clean. Water filtration, water drinking, that whole setup. Super important. It does vary a little bit on every trip, depending on like how many water sources there are. We might need to bring some more bags or more storage things. But for most trips, we both have one of these. This is called Hard Side Hydration, and it is a Nalgene with a straw. And this is like one of the best inventions ever. We always used to use bladders, but one, bladders can pop, and is there water in there?
Dry them out better than I do.
So bladders can pop, for one, which is frightening when you have all of your stuff in a bag with it. And 2, when you have a bladder in there, it can be really hard to refill it if you're hiking. So like you have to take everything out, and you're probably gonna get stuff wet trying to filter in there, and it's just a pain in the butt. Yeah. So we got these last year, and they've changed our lives. Like we haven't gone without them now.
This bag has a wide mouth on the top, so we can just go straight into a little waterfall or a stream and fill this up completely. It folds closed, and then our filters can screw right on to that end. And just like any other squeeze bag, you just roll it and squeeze water into the bottle. It's super easy. A lot of times we'll just fill this around dinner time. It's enough to cook with, and there'll be extras left over to have water for the night.
So we use the Sawyer squeeze. We'll use this, and you have a Life Straw filter that we use, but the Sawyers are just like very trustworthy, super reliable. And this bag, these Sawyers come with a small 1 liter bag.
And they're kind of unreliable bags. They tend to break around the neck.
And they're just a pain to fill up because it's all it is the little tiny mouth. Yeah. So this bag is by Knock.
Somebody tell me how it's pronounced, please.
Knock. I don't know, but we love these, and because like having the wide mouth to fill it up is so much easier. It sounds so simple, but it makes such a big difference, and it packs down really small. Yeah. We have 3-liter and 2-liter versions of these. These always go in the lids of our packs because you want it at easy access while you're hiking. And
then these, like every other bottle, go in the water pocket on the side of the pack, and the straw goes up over the shoulder. Extra clothes. Things we always bring with us. The basic outfit can change a lot from trip to trip, but these are things that we always bring. Always a rain jacket, and always either a lightweight or a thicker puffy.
Typically, we're both going to be wearing pretty similar to what we're wearing right now. A sun hoodie on top. These are the REI shade hoodies. We love them.
So good.
And then I typically prefer to hike in shorts in the summer. Yeah, it depends on the weather too. Like sometimes I'll do pants. But this is our main outfit the whole time that we are hiking, and then we just have a few extra pieces of clothing that we're bringing, and that also changes a lot. So we both have, like you said, our rain jacket and our puffy. These are non-negotiables, need to come everywhere just for safety. Sometimes I will bring some clothes for camp if I'm feeling a little luxurious. It just kind of depends. But another non-negotiable is an extra pair of socks. I have a pair of hiking socks and a pair of camp socks, so I want these to stay dry because they're so nice to change into at night. We both always bring a buff, something that, like, I mean, I just keep it in my hip pocket so that you could, like, use it to wipe sweat. You can use it if it's really dusty or if it was smoky for some reason. I use it to hold my hair back. I mean, this has so many uses and it's just nice to have. And then hat, sunglasses, sun protection is also super important.
When we pack these kind of just fill in the gaps around everything. If there's a corner that needs to be filled, jacket can fill that. For her, around a bear canister.
I usually roll it up, and that's the best way to pack it. Next is a lot of like loose items that I would consider somewhat in the safety gear. So we will start with backpack rain covers. We each have a rain cover for our pack for if it's raining I mean, these are so easy to just put over the whole pack and keep everything out. We've had to use these more times than I would like to admit, and it's not fun not having them.
We also always carry just a minor get us out first aid kit. This is something that can fix little stuff and just enough to get you back to the trailhead, but we're not doing any surgery out in the backcountry.
Headlamps. Obviously.
That one needs new batteries.
This one does too.
The poor representation of our headlamps.
Headlamps and batteries. I would always recommend bring like at least one extra set of batteries.
Yeah.
Headlamps pretty self-explanatory. Paracord.
This has a lot of uses, and I'm not going to go over all of them. But I think it's pretty damn useful and super important. We've fixed boots, we've fixed packs, we've fixed a lot of things with this.
We've hauled packs up rocks.
It's just worth having, and it weighs nothing. It goes in the brain of my pack, and I always have it. Just a good thing to have. Next, our Garmin InReach Mini 2. This is a satellite communication device. It's really nice because we can send text from our phone through the Garmin to our loved ones and kind of update them if we're out on the trail for a day longer than we expected, if we get back earlier, or just give them updates if we're out for a long time.
The main reason we have this though is for the SOS button. We didn't have this for a long time. It is a pricey piece of gear. They do go on sale, so check if it's on sale because it's often $100 off. But there's an SOS button that if there was an emergency, we could call for emergency services, a rescue, a helicopter, something of the sorts. Yeah. It's an investment, but this little tiny thing has saved so many people's lives, and it's something that I don't want to be without anymore, whether it's for us or someone else on the trail. Battery pack. We're bringing cameras, we're bringing phones, we want to be able to charge whatever we're bringing. So we bring these Anchor battery packs. I've had these for years and they're amazing. Like, I've tried so many crappy battery packs that just they charge your phone once and then it's dead. These we can bring one of these for a 2 to 3 day trip for both of us, and then we have 2 of them if we're going on a longer trip. They're just great and super durable. I don't think
we've ever actually run out of battery power because of it.
They're so nice, and I mean you could do the whole solar panel thing, but I've heard that they don't really work that well, and if you're in shade or in clouds.
It's the same weight. We just have a good one.
These are really nice.
And finally, I always carry a multi-tool. Something really simple. It's got a knife on it. It's got just a couple of tools, nothing crazy. A screwdriver, just enough to fix whatever we need to. No crazy, fat, mega tools. Just
Or
good
to
to have.
cut some cheese and salami.
It gets used mostly for that. I will typically put my rainfly in the other water bottle pocket that my water bottle is not in, so it's an easy access in case a storm does roll in. Everything else, other than the first aid kit, this usually goes inside the pack, kind of on top. Easy access. And then for me, most of this gets clipped to the outside. Everything else kind of goes in the brain or in an extra hip pocket.
Like small items that I don't want loose and I want to just be able to access if I need them.
Yep.
On to the most exciting part, the bathroom kit.
Yay!
A crucial part of being a responsible backpacker is knowing how to deal with human waste. And there are quite a few ways to do that because everywhere is different. So what's usually in our bathroom kit? We have a trowel, we have toilet paper, we have hand sanitizer, and a dry bag. Sometimes, it depends on the trip, there are certain areas where you cannot bury your waste and you need a wag bag. So we'll be bringing wag bags for like one per person per day, provided that you think you're gonna be regular.
Some of us have superpowers.
He doesn't poop when we're backpacking. It's crazy.
By choice.
He can hold it for, we just did a 7-day trip and he pooped one time. Isn't that crazy?
Some of us just have these powers. TMI.
Anyways, so trowel is to dig a hole. This is kind of handy because you want the hole to be as deep as this trowel. This is just the Deuce #2. It's just a super lightweight towel. Great name. We usually bring dog bags, and you should be packing out all of your toilet paper. Toilet paper does not degrade the way that you might think it would, and it will stay in the ground for a very long time. It's so much better for the environment to just pack it out with you, and it's really not that hard. These dog bags, and put the toilet paper in the dog bags, tie them, and then you can put them in a dry bag to help conceal any smells and just have them all in here. Now, if you are someone who wipes when they pee, this is a Kula cloth, and I love this and cannot say enough good things. I have 5 because I have misplaced them, and then I have to buy them for every trip. But it is an antimicrobial pee cloth. So this is the outside, it doesn't touch anything. This is the inside where you wipe, and just hang it on your backpack, and the sun actually helps to sanitize it, and then you can wash it in rivers that you're passing by. But this has changed my life. You get the point. Now for a couple random items that you may or may not want, but these are things that we bring on every trip.
So we always like to have some camp shoes. These are our Tebas. We carry these kind of on the outside. There's a mesh pocket on the back that we stick these in. And they're lightweight sandals that when we get to camp, we want to take our shoes off. You stick your feet in these. You can walk through the river. It's comfy. It's nice.
These are the Teva Universals. They're just the lightest pair of Tevas that you can get. Super flexible.
Yeah.
Very basic, but we love them.
Not meant for long hikes, but definitely comfortable at camp.
No. Next are our sit pads. So we have fought the backpacking chair craze for all this time. These weigh practically nothing, and they're $20. But this just this seems so simple, but it makes any seat so much more comfortable.
Oh, it makes such a big difference.
On a log or on rocks or on pine needles, so it's not sticking in your butt. So much easier. These usually just go somewhere on the outside of our packs, and can't say enough good things. For 20 bucks.
Love it. And then we typically always bring trekking poles. These are the REI Traverse poles. They have cork handles. They're really nice. They're quite durable. We've had these for 4 years, and I mean, other than a little paint coming off, they look pretty dang good. They're not crazy heavy. They're not crazy light. They're just good trekking poles, and we bring them all the time, whether or not we're using them. They're good to have either in emergencies or when your legs start to hurt, or if you just like hiking with trekking poles all the time.
Yeah, I just like them for steep uphills and downhills and when I'm getting really tired. And these are a good bang for your buck. A lot of trekking poles are super lightweight, but they also break a lot. These are super durable. I mean, they've gone through it.
I also use these as my backcountry ski poles in the winter. So they work
true.
really well for all what they need to do. These go in the gear loops on the outside of the pack. Most packs have them these days, and they just go on the outside like that.
When they're not in your hands.
Yes. Yes.
Which honestly, I do hike with them on my pack more than I hike with them in my hands, but I am grateful for when I have them in my hands. Last, and definitely not least, are toiletries. This is pretty personal for everyone. We try and keep it down to a minimum, but sometimes I have to say I get a little bit luxurious. Not
Yes,
really, but... So, like, definite essentials.
Toothbrush, toothpaste. These are chewable tablets. We choose these because they're just easy to bring.
Sunscreen, chapstick, always.
Bug spray. Sometimes it gets buggy.
And then, this is my idea of luxury. Sometimes I'll bring face wipes, and sometimes I'll bring deodorant, and that just makes me feel more like a human.
I don't bring deodorant.
Yeah, I know. These all typically just also go in the top pocket. Any of the loose small stuff, I'd just rather put there so it's not floating around in the pack.
And then in the bear canister at night.
A couple of things that we didn't really talk about, we always download the trail. You can download it on the Garmin. We also will usually have it downloaded on our phones. Even a paper map if that's ideal, is to have a paper map. And we'll either use All Trails or Onyx Backcountry, both great apps for downloading a trail.
We didn't talk about food, but obviously that depends on your palate and how hungry you typically get and how many days you're going to be out there. Some people go just bars and oatmeal for the entire trip, and if you can get the calories in, that's good. We like to have nice food.
Food is important to us.
We're big on the food.
Now that these are all packed, we keep wondering, like, what are we forgetting? Because it feels so light because we don't have water or food or like maybe any extra clothes if it was going to be cold. So it feels like this is very empty right now.
Very empty.
Or camera gear, you know?
Yeah.
That really takes up a lot.
But this is a base weight.
Yes, so a base weight, which we've actually have not weighed this, our whole setup as a base weight. So we're doing this together and we're excited to see what this number on the scale is. A base weight is basically what your backpacking gear weighs without any like disposables. So we don't have any food, we don't have any water. I took out the sunscreen, like things that are probably gonna change. Everything that's in here should stay in here.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Should we find out?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
If you had to guess, what do you think yours is gonna be?
So the goal would be to have it under 20, right?
Are we that lightweight?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
I don't know if we're that lightweight.
The packs are definitely heavier than like the ultralight.
All right. Zero this thing out. Let's find out. Woo!
17.1.
Yeah, let's go.
Are you sure the whole thing is off the table? Do it one more time.
One more time? All right. We'll double check it.
That's a good base weight actually.
Okay, are we ready? All right, it's 0.
Okay.
Okay. Whole thing is off the table. It's pretty.
17.3. That's a great base weight.
She just wants it to be heavier. If you can see it. Now it's Zoe's turn.
Now I'm curious if mine will be heavier or lighter.
Zero it out. Okay, down. Oh, I didn't get it. You didn't sit still long enough.
Huh? 15.3. That's not staying. 15.4.
So, 17.3. 15.4, those are our base weights for the season.
That's honestly great. That's way better than I was thinking. Are we ultralight now?
Hell no.
Oh my god.
We don't have ultralight packs, it doesn't count.
So we have left all of the gear that we are using this year, some clothing, all of our recommendations in the caption. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions about any of this gear. We know all of this pretty well at this point, so...
Or tell us if you do anything differently.
Yeah, I'm always curious to hear new things. I feel like we change things every single year.
Stick around. Hopefully coming out soon will be some actual backpacking videos, not just about us packing our packs in our living room, although it is comfortable here. We're ready to get out in the backcountry. Pretty soon, this weekend actually, we have a trip coming up and we're excited to take you along.
I can't wait.
Bye!